This is the future of this technology. We don't talk, these are not fairy tales because we have systems now. And very soon, as I showed you the CO2, as I showed you the, what do you call it, the operation of the magnetic fields, we will show the first car which has no wheels and it positions itself on the same basis. You don't need to tank fuel anymore. You literally find your position, you don't have the wheels, you'll fly at any height you like. But the advantage with this technology is that we have tested it, we can say it clearly, that because you create magnetic fields like atmosphere around your system, the heating which was like with Concorde used to expand by a few centimeters because of the heat when it was called supersonic. So if you put this system inside, let's say, a jumbo jet, you can increase the boundary of the magnetic field beyond the physical boundary of the plane, and then there will be no friction between the plane and the matter in the space or in the environment of the Earth. So you travel a friction-free environment, so you can go much faster. But if, for example, you put this system inside the same plane, as the dynamic magnetic field of the system are operating, your system becomes invisible to the present knowledge radar technology, which means as the magnetic fields of the radio waves approach the system, as it's a plasma, a dynamic plasma, it literally absorbs it in and chucks it up and literally becomes part of its structure. So the wave from the radar never goes back. So while you see the object flying, the radar says there is no object existing because it doesn't get the feedback or the return wave. So these objects, once or any object using this technology to the present radar frequency, are invisible. So a lot of people will see them, they say there is such a thing in the sky, and radar especially says there is not because there's nothing on our radar, but there are ways of detecting in systems. So, but at the same time, because these systems created dynamic spherical magnetic fields, these magnetic fields interact with the magnetic field and gravitational fields of the Earth. So the consequence of two fields interacting is creation of light. So most of the time from now on, when you see these systems flying in the sky, due to interaction of their magnetic gravitational field and the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth, you will see what we call bright lights in the sky. So in the future, the way we see jetliners track in the sky, we know the plane has been there before. We see this, what we call the vapor lines. In the future, we only see light at the point where the object is, because when the object moves, the light goes. There is no leftovers in a way. So in reality, very soon, the way we got used to seeing jetliners in space or in the space above us, very soon we get used to seeing lights, bright lights crossing over. That's exactly what we'll see what's happening. But this brings us to another dimension of the use of this technology. And that is using these gravitational magnetic fields. At the moment, the speeds of Mach 1, Mach 2, Mach 3, which is used for missile technology and weapon technology, it becomes a child play. We have done a test and we can confidently say that using this technology, Mach 30 plus, Mach 40 plus, about 40 to 45 is the maximum within the Earth atmosphere. Why? Because if you go too faster and you cannot control, you usually zoom out of the atmosphere. So to be able to develop the control system within the Earth atmosphere, you can go about 30-35, Mach 35. In a way, this makes the present nuclear missile technology obsolete. You know, say, anyway, as we say, you send one with a missile of 2,000-3,000, a system which goes 35, what we say, return to the center. It is very easy. So in a way, one of the applications of this technology will be bringing peace, that no nation can use weapon technology against the other. But on the other hand, if you have it and you want to use it faster, everybody is in the same position now. This brings another subject about how and where this technology is going to take us. Nobody knows. Where are we going to end up and how we're going to end up. What we know for fact, one thing, we are in a position to show and demonstrate physical systems to public in a very short time. We have shown the system to the government officials in Belgium. The scientific world in Belgium have seen the system, physical system, and its operation in some cases. And now we will show the whole system and its operation the way we have shown on our website how a woman using our technology with MS, after 5 years in a wheelchair and bed, she has started walking and she can feel her toes. And after 4 years of the last stage of MS, she even gets her monthly menstruation back, which she lost 4 years ago when MS set in, which is one of the side effects of it. Through the understanding of this technology, we understand very clearly even what we see as the physical damages of MS, Parkinson, stroke, is only 20% of the real damage. 80% of the damage is so internal and it comes in such a slow pace that most of the time the patient forgets. And as now they recover from these positions because the neural systems are coming back, everything which was lost is getting back to normal, they start telling us what they're gaining. They can feel their internal organs for the first time. They can feel their toes for the first time. They can remember, even they speak a language they didn't remember they spoke before. In a very recent case, we have a gentleman from Parkinson that in his own native language, which is Flemish, he mumbles, he could not speak. But now he remembers that he speaks a very clear, it's all been recorded, he speaks a very clear English. The question came, how can he speak English? This gentleman, when he was young, he was a prisoner in German prison camps, and one of his best friends was an American. He learned English from the American guy in the Second World War and he forgot about it. And now he speaks English fluently, just through the same process. These are the things we see an end to Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is becoming literally for us a history. We are using this technology at the moment on the trial cases for people who've been damaged by chemotherapy. What the doctors don't tell you and the pharmaceuticals don't tell you, statistically, and all the numbers are available, one can check, is that a large percentage, over 3/4 of people who get chemotherapy after the age of 60, 65, within 5 to 7 years die of the most little niggly infections because the body hasn't got the immune system to protect the body. The body has lost it because of the chemotherapy years ahead. So in North America, in Canada, they give them injections to increase this immune system for a little bit longer they can live. So we are running trials in Canada where a person in this condition is using the technology and we start seeing the change in bone marrow. We start hopefully seeing everything, and what we do, we always rely on not what we say, but the physical blood test and collaboration with other scientists. So we see the changes. We have seen a very recent past, a woman who's been in bed for 5 years. After 8 weeks, she can sit up and actually try to walk. We have shown this video in past 7 days in our lectures. This is what is to come. This is the changes of this technology. In a way, the society will change one way or another. We have seen changes in the small measures over centuries. We moved from a donkey to finding out about the wheels. They say the wheel was the biggest invention of man. It made us independent of the animals. Then we found out about the steam and water. And then we found about the electricity was another change. The society changed totally. In late 20th century, we found the computer. They said everybody's going to lose their job because of the computer. Now there are more employed people through computer and computer programming than anything else. This is a phase. You can put any obstacles, any objections to it, but now the cat is out of the bag. There is no way it can be stopped. The reason the cat is out of the bag is certain things. First of all, as I said to the Americans and the Canadians, I said, the problem with you, you captured me too late on board of a plane. They literally walked on the board of a plane. They were waiting with all my documents in their hand. It wasn't coincidental. They knew I received my visa to go to Mexico less than 24 hours before. And the officer who came on board to get me, he said, I've been studying your case for 3 days to be a nuclear physicist to speak to you on your level. So they know what's coming out, what is about to come. But the thing is, as I tell them, as I told the Canadian, officials, is that the problem with you is you left me too long free to publish too many books, to put too many patents which are published, to write too many scientific papers, and to talk to too many government officials and scientists and teach them. So the time of trying and stopping the change is too late. We have treated too many people in Europe that they've seen the alternatives. We have given so many lectures. On average, I lecture to about 200 to 300 people, maybe sometimes more, every couple of weeks. So the knowledge is passed on, and Keshe Foundation is growing within the people, amongst the people in Western Europe. People who've seen the effects of the technology through their own brothers, to their own themselves being treated. Most of the people who work with Keshe Foundation are the people who've been sick themselves, and they've seen, we have a gentleman who's been not be able to work for 15 years, and within 3 days from start using the technology, the guy cannot stop working. He's working 7 days a week. And this is the same. A man or a woman who could not do something, now she can do a 7 days work. So they're feeding back, they're supporting the foundation and teaching, and allows us to teach. So it's not that it's going to be a change. What's going to happen? The change will come. One day the oil will run out. Not in the next 20 years, in 50 years. So there is no reason why not now. This is the question which we were asking when I was invited to come to Belgium first. Anybody who we talk to say, why Belgium? Why do Belgians put themselves so down that why not Belgium? And as we said in very recent talk, the launch of the first what we call gravitational field by Keshe Foundation will be done from Belgium. You can go to New York from Brussels within 2 to 5 minutes. And most of this 5 minutes is actually landing and getting up. And the same, you can go from Brussels to Tokyo within less than 10 minutes. So the time and the space and the nationalism is totally finished. So it doesn't matter where we develop this technology, where it comes out, which part of it comes out from which country is totally irrelevant, because now we all as a human race are going to be benefited by it. We're all going to have not a free energy, but energy as we need, to the amount we need. No more abuses of environment, to burn so much fuel to damage the environment, and so much exploring the land and doing all sorts of use of the fertilizers to destroy that. For the next generation, we are running into problem even with the air we breathe. So this is what's going to happen. This is what a lot of people say what we've been waiting for, but now that it's here, they can't believe it is here. So it's just the mindset. And the way it's coming out, the way we are selling books throughout the world, through our internet system, we see that everybody, we are even selling our energy system is bought in Hong Kong and in China. And this is very interesting. So we sell it as much to South America as to European countries, and everywhere else they're putting the deposit to receive the energy system. On the other hand, a lot of people talk about the free energy. There is no free energy. The only thing is that, as I explained at the beginning, we go to the source of the atom, the plasma, and we go to the source of the plasma, which is what we call principal matter or principal magnetic fields, which is, this magnetic field is there for 10-15 billion years. So what we do, we go to the center, we use it for 5,000 or 10,000 years. That's why instead of for the atom to unwind itself over billions of years, we allow it to unwind in 10,000 years. So that extra energy is what we receive. Nothing is free. We just learn how to speed it up and use what we like. So what they call, we're going to have a free energy, there is no free. We're still using magnetic fields of the matter. But if you go into principal matter, and what a lot of people now talk about, the dark matter and dark energy, this is very interesting. We call it the transition energy, we call it the transition matter. And why transition? Because all it is from a point of the strong magnetic field to get to the point of where it becomes tangible, it needs a transition time. It needs a time to arrive. So magnetic field in motion. This is what I call energy. So that motion from the strong field of the source to where we are, it cannot go on its own. It needs time. It needs a space of where it's going through, and that we call the transition state. Why is transition? Is because it's a transit. And they call this dark energy because they couldn't understand it. Now we understand what it is. We can explain it. And in the book I've explained what's the difference between a light and an atom, or a proton or electron. So it's very easy to understand the whole concept because we go back to the origin of the creation, and we can explain and control everything from the top to where it becomes matter, which is important to us as a human. And this, what is matter to us, not necessarily is a matter to the other creatures which are in the universe. So we are part of a chain of events.